Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all? Are you aware of the old belief that says there is only supposed to be one mirror to a wall? And feng shui will tell you never have that mirror facing the door. It will push the good energy right out the door. Well, Snow White's wicked stepmother had a magic mirror, and that was enough for her. But even though she would have liked it to lie, it always told the truth concerning the most beautiful woman in the land. It's not healthy to have a fixation with a mirror, for in real life, it too doesn't lie. But just for fun, I'd like to mirror the heartbeat of the internet. It's an old story that has seen many variations. It is the German legend of Snow White, published by the Brothers Grimm in 1812. In the fairy tale, Snow White, her mother and father, the king and queen, are living a happy life until her mother suddenly dies. Eventually the king remarries, but Snow White's new stepmother is anything but a reflection of the woman who gave birth to her. She is a power-hungry individual who not only lusted after being the most powerful woman in the land, she is not content with her new authority. She is also the most vain woman in the kingdom, who needs constant assurance that her beauty will never fade. And to that end, she is in possession of a magic mirror. Every morning, she asks the mirror who is the fairest in the land. The mirror always answered, "My queen, you are the fairest in the land." But as Snow White grew up, the mirror said, "My queen, you are the fairest here, so true, but Snow White is 1,000 times more beautiful than you." Well, you can just imagine her reaction. The queen flies into a rage and decides to have her stepdaughter killed. She orders a huntsman to take Snow White into the darkest regions of the forest in order to kill her. When Snow White and the huntsman arrive after a very long trek, she begins to realize what is about to happen and who is behind it. She begs for her life, and the huntsman, being a kind soul, frees her with the promise never to return to her palace again. In time, the queen asks the mirror again, who is the fairest in the land, and the mirror reveals that Snow White is still alive. Of course, there is a poisoned apple that is supposed to finish the job that the huntsman was supposed to carry out, and a group of little men who don't resemble in any way, shape, or form the dwarves in The Lord of the Rings. These little men give Snow White shelter from the wild woods. Now, I don't think there's any need to carry the story on from here. We all know that it has a happy ending. There's no spoiler here. And left like that, it would become one of the more popular fairy tales of all time. But we didn't leave it alone. In this day of Hollywood remakes, a few writers decided to bring Snow White and her wicked stepmother into the 21st century in a most spectacular way. Before we continue with the fate of Snow White in a new millennium, I thought we might see how mirrors have played a role in so many stories of old. This was written by Oscar Wilde. It's called The Disciple. When Narcissus died, the pool of his pleasure changed from a cup of sweet waters into a cup of salt tears. And the Oreads came weeping through the woodland that they might sing to the pool and give it comfort. And when they saw that the pool had changed from a cup of sweet waters into a cup of salt tears, they loosened the green tresses of their hair and cried to the pool and said, "We do not wonder that you should mourn in this manner for Narcissus. So beautiful was he." "But was Narcissus beautiful?" said the pool. "We should know that better than you," answered the Oreads. "Us did he ever pass by, but you he sought for, and would lie on your banks and look down at you, and in the mirror of your waters he would mirror his own beauty." And the pool answered, But I loved Narcissus because, as he lay on my banks and looked down at me, in the mirror of his eyes, I saw my own beauty mirrored. This is called the House of 1,000 Mirrors. Long ago, in a small, faraway village, there was a place known as the House of 1,000 Mirrors. A small, happy little dog learned of this place and decided to visit. When he arrived, he bounced happily up the stairs to the doorway of the house. He looked through the doorway with his ears lifted high and his tail wagging as fast as it could. To his great surprise, he found himself staring at 1,000 other happy little dogs with their tails wagging just as fast as his. He smiled a great smile and was answered with 1,000 great smiles, just as warm and friendly. As he left the house, he thought to himself, "This is a wonderful place. I will come back and visit it often." In the same village, another little dog, who was not quite as happy as the first one, decided to visit the house. He slowly climbed the stairs and hung his head low as he looked into the door. When he saw 1,000 unfriendly dogs staring back at him, he growled at them and was horrified to see 1,000 little dogs growling back at him. As he left, he thought to himself, "That is a horrible place, and I will never go back there again." It was Aesop who told another fable that seems to be an embellishment of the story of the two dogs. It happened that a dog had got a piece of meat and was carrying it home in his mouth to eat in peace. Now, on his way home, he had to cross a plank lying across a running brook. As he crossed, he looked down and saw his own shadow reflected in the water beneath. Thinking it was another dog with another piece of meat, he made up his mind to have that also. So, he made a snap at the shadow in the water. But as he opened his mouth, the piece of meat fell out, dropped into the water, and was never seen anymore. All the faces in the world are mirrors. What kind of reflections do you see in the faces of the people you meet? Indeed. It was St. Jerome who wrote, "The face is the mirror of the mind, and eyes, without speaking, confess the secrets of the heart." This is called the mirror. The good you find in others is in you too. The faults you find in others are your faults as well. After all, to recognize something, you must know it. The possibilities you see in others are possible for you as well. The beauty you see around you is your beauty. The world around you is a reflection, a mirror showing you the person you are. To change your world, you must change yourself. To blame and complain will only make matters worse. Whatever you care about is your responsibility. What you see in others shows you yourself. See the best in others, and you will be your best. Give to others, and you give to yourself. Appreciate beauty, and you will be beautiful. Admire creativity, and you will be creative. Love, and you will be loved. Seek to understand, and you will be understood. Listen, and your voice will be heard. Teach, and you will learn. Show your best face to the mirror, and you'll be happy with a face looking back at you. It's not healthy to have a fixation with a mirror, as was the case with Snow White's wicked stepmother. But there is always the other side of the coin, or the mirror in this case. Merle Shane, in Some Men Are More Perfect Than Others, wrote, "Living alone is a life without mirrors, a life without a diary to read, to see where you have been, and if at times it seems as if nothing has really happened, when it hasn't been recorded by another set of eyes. It is also true that when you stop relying on others to tell you what they see, you see for yourself, and clearer still. Walt Disney gave the story of Snow White new life in a major animated motion picture. I remember seeing it in a theater when I was a child. Even before that, there is an epic poem from the Indian subcontinent called Padmavati that might be the genesis for the original story. If not, then you can see that similar folktales or fables are likely to pop up in far-flung places in the world. Queen Nagamati asks her parrot, "Who is more beautiful, I or Padmavati?" Like the mirror belonging to Snow White's wicked stepmother, the parrot cannot tell a lie. There was a recent hit movie called Snow White and the Huntsman that starred Kristen Stewart as Snow, Charlize Theron as the wicked stepmother, and Chris Hemsworth as Eric the Huntsman. The film boasted some spectacular special effects to help generate an interest in a classic fairy tale. You heard the hit song from the movie with Florence and the Machine at the beginning of this program that also featured some of those incredible effects. But it wasn't until the creators of the hit TV series Lost got their hands on the story that Snow White and her wicked stepmother made the crossing into the 21st century. The follow-up to their successful hit ABC TV series Lost was the debut of Once Upon a Time. Emma Swan, the daughter of Snow White and Prince Charming, played by Jennifer Morrison, holds the key to breaking the curse on a small Maine town where everyone is a familiar storybook character. Those memories of happiness have been taken away by the evil queen. Snow White is played by Jennifer Goodwin and Bailey Madison as a child. Prince Charming is played by Josh Dallas. Truthfully, my money is on Mr. Gold to solve the dilemma and break the spell. We'll see. Khalil Gibran wrote, "Beauty is eternity, gazing at itself in a mirror. But you are eternity, and you are the mirror." Snow White's wicked stepmother wasn't the only person, real or imagined, to have a fixation with her reflection in a mirror. Look what happened to Alice when she stood too long in front of the looking glass. She ended up going right through into Wonderland. And who doesn't stop to admire what he or she sees when passing a shop window? How many times do you figure you've done that unconsciously? You might be surprised, because for most of us, it's one of those unconscious acts we rarely, if ever, think about. And if you think Snow White's wicked stepmother was the only one to be upset when the mirror told the truth, consider this. In 1982, the New York Times reported a story that some women shoppers in department store fitting rooms actually asked for the mirrors that made them look thin, rather than the ones that made them look heavier. In an article by Wendy Gimble that appeared in the May 1989 issue of South magazine, she wrote, and I quote, "Making faces at oneself in a mirror, an English legend has it, scares the devil away." Some Africans believed a person shouldn't look into a dark pool because some creature hiding below would swallow their reflection and thereby their soul. End quote. And whatever you do, don't drop the mirror and break it. The superstitious among us would have you believe that you'll be in for 7 years of bad luck. But the ancients couldn't break the water they saw their reflection in. Or could they? It was once believed that you could divine your future by peering into a glass bowl filled with water. But if you happened to drop the bowl, your fate was sealed in the broken glass. And that would be the least of your worries if you lived around 1300. It was then that the Venetians discovered the process of making mirrors of glass. My source said that the Venetian mirror makers, and I quote, formed a corporation to protect the secrets of the methods used in their manufacture. Anyone who carried the art into a foreign country risked the imprisonment of his nearest relatives. And if this did not cause him to return, the corporation sent members to find and kill him. Unquote. That kind of bad luck stays with you forever. You can almost see how some of the superstitions surrounding mirrors originated. But don't worry about that superstition of 7 years of bad luck. There is a way to circumvent that ill luck. One of my sources said to take the broken pieces of the mirror and wash them in a clear, fast-running stream that makes its way in a southerly direction. It said that you can literally wash away the bad luck. Good night. Sweet dreams. I'm Don Jackson.